fans, welcome back everyone, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely break in the Brutal OST as we return with our semi-finals, or semi-finales, exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves. But of course we have the upper semis ready for us here. In the end we had Percival did take down Cristiano 2-0, and we had Classic barely taking down Nick Ranch, went all the way to the ace match 2-1. As I mentioned before, like Nick Ranch, he is one that can cause upsets and take it to the best Protoss players in the world. Did go all the way to game 3, but in the end we have our top 4 players, and spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic we have the South Korean Terran player, we have the blue Terran. It is Percival. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner we have the South Korean Protoss player, we have the red Protoss for Virtus Pro. It is a Classic. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our PvT. Here we go. We have our almost full Korean lineup, to be honest. Again, we have Geralt vs Nightmare, which is still ongoing. To be fair, they're still facing off. They are still mid-series. But again, we do have at least Classic and Percival facing off. Now, welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a very large map. The map pool, larger map, longer rushes, spike rounds. I'm a little bit surprised that Percival did let this through the veto process. From what we've seen many Terran players struggle to play the mid to late game on the Old Republic. So I feel like Percival, he has to embrace some earlier aggression here. When it comes to the meta of TVP, it's been changing quite a lot as of late. I mean, TVP has been shifting so much this year, right? It is the matchup that has changed the most in 2025. A lot of changes, a lot of meta shifts, of course, throughout the course of the entire year. I want to say we've had like five different metas, 5 different kind of like shifts in what is standard play. And currently we have seen players embrace more longer games here. More mid game, more late game has become the more standard play and standard option in TVP. Not saying that it's like we've seen the death of like aggressive builds, but for the most part, all-ins are fallen out of favor. All-ins, they've fallen out of favor, they've fallen out of fashion, especially from the Korean and from the Korean Terrans and from Clem as well. Even someone like Percival, who is known for doing almost nothing but all-in, 2-base all-in specifically, nowadays has kind of stepped away from that. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Percival. Again, I do expect to see some aggression nonetheless on the Old Republic, just because of how exposed the 4th base is and how difficult it is to turtle up as a Terran player and try to play a longer game on this map. It's difficult. But now, Twilight Council. Twilight Council is the tech of choice. Reaper into the main base. We'll be disrupting some of the economy. We'll delay, we'll disrupt. Pulls back. And we have our tech of choice, once again, Twilight Council out of Classic. So working towards Blink. Blink is on the way, standard opener. At the same time, we do deny some mining time at the natural. The Adept is in position. Oh, does get one. One SV goes down. And should just be the one. Yeah, the SV does pull back away. And the Adept barely does escape. So nice pick up here by Classic. He delays mining time. He also snipes one SCV. Behind this, Percival going for his own 1-1-1 follow-up into Widowmine drop. So Widowmine drop is on the way. Classic may choose to cut some corners here because the map is so large. He might feel tempted to take a faster third. For now, we have 1 gateway in the main base and we have 1 gateway with the natural, so 2 gate Blink into a third. So greed out of Classic. In the previous ladder map pool, I would say that this build was very rare, very rare to go 2 gate Blink, but specifically because this map pool is so much larger and there are so many larger maps here in the new season, it does mean that this play is more viable here, going into something more greedy, cutting corners. Does feel more viable. Do you see Percival going for the follow-up, getting extra Raxes, Tech Lab on the factory, building up into the mid-game. As you did mention, again, like earlier game aggression has died out for the most part. Widowmine drop into the natural, Stalk is in position, the Widowmine's going to be shut down. Oh! Then we'll get a couple of shots off here, getting 1 probe. Just the one. Gets 3. 3 probes go down. Reaper heading into the main base, getting some extra probe damage, not bad. Let's get 5 workers in total. Some okay damage here. Now we're settling in towards that mid game. With that, Classic is going to be saturating his 3rd base. At the same time, Percival, he's building up on 2. Technically, you can still turn this into a 2-base all-in, but we do expect a 3rd command center out of Percival. Now, I will be concerned if he slows down. If he slows things down, and if we play more passive here, that's when I'm going to be concerned for Percival, as Classic will gain map control. We're not there yet. For now, we're waiting for the stim timing. When stim finishes, then Percival, he can move out. He can push, he can move out, he can have his drop play available. He can start to be more active. And that is where Percival's strengths lie. If you haven't been watching him recently, he's a very active, very aggressive player. He can be very in your face. And we've seen him pop up. Like Percival, he's been improving so much as of late, and I would say that his best matchup is TVP. It is where his strengths lie. And there's a window. He's moving out. There's a window in time where Percival, he's going to finish Stim, and Storm will not be done. So Storm is being croned. Ooh, we'll lose 1 Stalker. 1 Stalker with 3 Marines. Ravens across the map. That's Percival, he's getting his 3rd CC on location. Forcing back the Protoss. Storm is still not yet done. He stims. He's going for the dive. Does he get the High Templar? Ah, he's pre-splitting. Yeah, he's pre-splitting. He's terrified of Storm. Remember, Storm is not ready. He backs off. He backs off. He pulls away. Classic is holding. You have plenty of charge lots. And Classic will deflect. He even gets the feedback towards the end. Ooh, slash on the medevacs. Medevac goes down. So far, a nice defense here from Classic. He protects his 3rd base. It's fully saturated. Storm is not ready, and now he can take a 4th. Now would be the time. Here comes a probe. Double force for double upgrades. 4th base has been thrown down. And Classic, he's looking more and more terrifying as time goes on. And you can see momentum swing from one player to the other. That was the stim timing. I was able to pick off some Zealots, true. Got 2 Zealots, got 2 Stalkers, but did lose the medevac, and now it's time for Classic to gain map control. Now we have Storm. Speaking of, first Storm, ooh, does it, oh god, it does it away. First we have to be so careful. As there's 3 more Storms with the main army. There's 4 High Templar in total, 1 just stormed. There's 2 in the War Prism. And the armies, they pass by each other. Uh-oh. Classic going straight for the natural. Wouldn't mind shots. Ooh, they don't quite connect. Yeah, Prism does go down, but the High Templar then the storms. Yeah, there's no way they're going straight for the natural. At the same time, Percival, he does turn back around. He's racing back home to defend. And damage is going to be done here. Yeah, a bit of a miss rally, losing 3 Marauders. No! Medevacs, they go through the main army. They will unload. Oh my god. They try to at least, but a messy defense here from Percival. It's getting messy. But here come the reinforcements, and Percival, he will defend. Whew, okay. Nice EMP. EMPs on the Archons. He shuts down the main army, but he will lose 19 SCVs in the process. 19 workers go down, the economy is crippled, and Classic, he can just warp in. He's warping in back at home, warping in more High Templar, more Zealots. Again, it was a very gateway heavy composition. Now we have the first Colossus on the way as well. And Percival, sure, he defends, but he at a cost of the entire mineral line. And now he needs to get some counter damage done. Classic back at home, he's freely mining 72 probes, 4 bases, getting further ahead. The supplies are close now, but not for much longer. As Classic is enjoying a booming economy. So the run by will disrupt, gets a couple of SCVs. That's 2 up to 3. Yeah, 3 SCV kills. Delays the 4th command center. More Colossus are amassing. Now, at least Percival was able to reset the High Templar counts and the Archon counts. True. There's at least that going his way, but again, for the most part, Classic now getting a 5th expansion. And it's going to be a tough mid-game here for Percival, but we'll see. Ravens, they harass, they buy some time. Back at home, Percival, he's building up his Vikings, building up his Ghosts. He is building up a pretty robust army, that is true. But this comes down to whether or not Percival can expand. That's what this is going to come down to. Whether he can take that 4th. Whether he can take it, whether he can maintain it. As Percival, he is securing his center base. Obviously, the Classic for now is staying back at home, but he should be the first to max. And once he maxes, then he can push in towards that center expansion. Here we go. So in the chats, I wonder if Percival ever beats Terrell. I wonder why you would ever say that message. What? The reason why we mentioned that Percival, he beat Hero, he beat Max is because Percival, we were trying to talk about his... Oh, sorry, I was talking about Nick right there. But we were talking about how Percival, his best matchup is TVP. And, like, this is where he can shine the most, I feel. As he has taken it the best Protoss players out there. You can even see it here, he's holding his own. I still give the advantage to Classic, of course, especially because of the current game state. Classic is taking more bases, getting a 6th expansion. He's max, and he should be pushing soon. Right now, Percival, he has to buy enough time for Liberator production. For Liberators. Lands 1 EMP. Classic is expanding with the army. He does have a warping point. And here we go. It's gonna come down to this defense, this engagement. First, always being proactive, bold move. Those Classic weeks are no longer. That has nothing to do with this matchup, though. Literally nothing to do. Yeah, he dives in and does catch a couple of ghosts. It's gonna be 3-4 ghosts going down. Yeah, and we did mention that again, it's so difficult to defend this position. You're on the low ground. There's a wide arc here available for a Classic. Maybe he's gonna be landing, gets 1, gets 2 Colossus. Decent time with the Colossus, but again, Storm zones away. And Classic is just forcing his way in. Here come the reinforcements. Oh, nice EMP. But there's still, what, 3 storms? Oof. Yeah, there's still so many storms. Speaking of, oh my god, yeah, storm lands in the Vikings. Vikings are going down, another storm in the fire. And down to soon-to-be 0 Vikings. GG gets called, and Classic, he breaks through. He takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Classic does take lead in the series. And again, I'm a little bit surprised that Percival didn't veto this map. We've tried to emphasize this for a lot of matchups here, but it is so difficult to defend your 4th base on the Old Republic just because they have that wide arc of attack, just because how large the map is as well. It allows a Protoss player to mass expand and also gives them a really nice angle of attack into the 4th base as well. This might also be just because of lack of experience. Remember, the map pool has been live for less than a week. It's been less than a week since we've had this map pool, so it still takes some time to players to kind of get used to the maps themselves. And this, I feel like, should become one of those maps that is almost insta-vetoed in TVP. But GG. GG well played. Oh, as 1 moment. As we're jumping into game 2. We're jumping into game 2. And we're loading into White Rabbits. Let's go. We go. Beautiful. As we're jumping into game two is going to be on White Rabbits. So this is another large map in the map pool. And again, when it comes to the vetoes themselves, game 3, if we get there, is going to be on Tourmaline. That will be a much more aggressive map available here to Percival. But now we're loading into another larger map. I will say that this map should be easier to set up on 4 bases. So if we end up in a similar situation, I would give Percival a higher chance of actually stabilizing on 4 bases. But we'll get there. As spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. It is Percival. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, we have the Red Protoss. Representing Team Protoss Pro, it is a classic. Here we go. As we are jumping into game number 2 here. And again, welcome to White Rabbit, another very large map in the map pool. Larger map, but I would say it's more defensive here as opposed to the previous map. Here we have our natural base, we have our 3rd, we have our 4th expansion as well. Now coming into this, for example, triangular 3rd base, we do have more choke points. The entrances here into the 3rd base, you have a high ground, you have points of elevation. They're also more narrow as well. It is easier to defend this expansion against an aggressing opponent, against an aggressing player. I would say the same thing about this linear base as well. It is closer to your natural, so the rush distance between the bases is quite short. And likewise, you have a much more narrow area here. Another thing that helps likewise is also the rotations. It can be more awkward. We have seen some players take their linear 3rd base and they expand forward, or they take this as a 3rd base instead. The forward base is going to be a little bit difficult to maintain, but I think there are some nice tank positions here. Likewise, it's a little bit awkward to rotate towards the right hand side. We'll see how Percival expands. We'll see if he does take this forward base as a 3rd. Oh, for now, going for the proxy. Okay. 2 racks, 1 at home, 1 across the map. Hyper aggression out of Percival. Let's go. Let us go. As of now, we do have our tech lab. We're going for the proxy marauder. So marauders are going to be amassing. When it comes to classic vision, he, I believe, scouted the command center. Yeah. Oh no. So he saw the initial racks timing. He didn't see the low ground. He's not fully aware as to what's going on. And we're slowly building up those marauders. Let's go. Marauders are amassing, and we'll see if Percival can keep this hidden. So outside the low ground, Adept is moving out across the map. Let's move out. Oh. And pokes in, does barely snipe 1 SCV, delays the command center as well, so nice damage here by a classic. But here comes the army. Okay, so we have 2 marauders, we have 3 marines. Back at home, no shield battery. No shield battery to defend, no warp gate either, 1 gateway. He's got 1 stalker, he can try to recall back home. And so far, there we go, the boys are being pulled. Does pull the boys. So far, picking up a couple of probes. Nice kiting so far, nice control. Takes down 8 workers, more boys are being pulled, up to 2 stalkers, bunkers on the way, but is this bunker too late? Can he get it up? Can he finish it? Oh, 1 marine goes down, down goes 1. Going for the marauder, marauder goes down as well. But now we're down to 1 stalker. Nice kiting so far, he does pull away, and oh no, he hits it! He barely does! 1 more stalker's coming, he's going for that versus pylon, but the marauder is going to be focused down. There's no bunker. There's no bunker, down to 1 marauder, there's a cancellation, and Classic is holding. Classic, he does barely hold on. Behind this, Adept is surrounded, but does the mining. Oof, loses another marauder. And with 3 shield batteries, Classic will defend. Did lose a lot of probes in the process, But at the same time, there's no natural. If this base was done, different story, right? We'd have a natural base. We'd maybe have another orbital. We'd have more mules. That'd be a different story. But the lack of natural base is brutal here for Percival. It's now morphing into the orbital, very delayed, very late. And the game will continue. Now from here again, we saw that Percival, he killed, what, 15 probes? He killed 15 workers. That's a lot of damage. But with 2 bases, Classic, he can just retain that. He can just rebuild, remake. He already has. Back at home, Percival also trying to recover as well, going for a follow-up stim timing, so the aggression continues. So stim is on, oh, cancels. Never mind. I assumed it was going to go into stim, combat shields, and go for a 2-base all-in, but no, it cancels, going for the factory instead. Interesting. It does cancel. Hallucination will confirm. Marines out of position. Gets eyes on stim, but also gets eyes on the factory. So he's aware that we're going for a later timing. It's like, okay, you have a factory, which means most likely you're building up into a starport, right? Into a starport, into medevacs, or even into an add-on storm into tank production. That should be the starport. So the game is going to slow down. Oof. So the game is slowing down. We have storm on the way. There's a starport. Percival's going to try to macro out of this. Now, I will say that thanks to all the aggression, it does also mean that Classic's 3rd base is late, right? He has a late 3rd expansion. He himself is intentionally staying on 2 bases even longer. There's a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, yes, Classic has a very late 3rd base. That is true. At the same time, though, Classic, he's going to have much earlier storm. He's getting more gateways, a robo. He may just push out soon on 2 bases instead. Go. You can see Percival is checking for the 3rd base. Based on his vision, he has confirmed. Oh, sorry, he sees at the tech lab. Let's go. Does give him some information. Got his own 3rd TC on the way. Economically, I would say that Percival's actually in a better position. His 3rd base is on par with the Protoss' 3rd, which should not be happening. But the storm potential here is insane. Let's drop some moving out. Okay, Percival. We'll see if he can do what he does best. Can he distract? He's coming in on the right. Gets spotted. Percival gets spotted. He does distract. The main army rotates over towards the 3rd base. At the same time, double drop into the main. Okay, he does get in. Classic, he warps into the natural. There's one storm with a High Templar. Not even. Okay, there's one. There's the engine overcharge. He gets into the middle line. Probes are going down. Oh my god, 16. Yeah, 17 pro kills. Very nice drop here out of Percival. At the same time, he rotates in between the bases. Does rotate in. Sims forward. Gets the sentry. Sentry goes down. 17 probes. Ooh, barely gets away. He unloads, and here comes the main army towards the 3rd expansion. And Classic just being pulled apart. Yeah, he's being torn apart here. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, he's being pulled left and right. He cannot keep up. He will clean up this army here at the natural. But the Marauders, they force to cancel. They force to cancel at the 3rd base. Takes down the Twilight Council. And Percival, he has his own 3rd. His own 3rd base is getting up and running here. Classic, he cannot keep up. Not like this. Nice storm. Oh, good. Very nice storm, and Classic's all in. He's all in. He's going to end the game here and now. Ooh, miss rally. We gotta stop that rally. Percival, he turns everything back around. And again, this is the final push. The final push over Classic. This is all he has left. War Prison's coming in. you have another Widowmine? Yeah, and with that, he will lose that Archon. Archon goes down. He's going to soon have 2 Storms. And the longer this goes on, the better it is for Percival. Oh. Storms at 9. GG gets called. He cannot be broken, and we are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. A very, very intense game. Winding it back, we did see that Percival was able to do a lot of damage, of course, with his first push. But the follow-up, I feel like, was more important. We'll get into it as we quickly make the lobby. Don't want to take too long for our players. Momento. There we go. But we're getting into the ace match. Now, talking a little bit about the game itself, we did try to emphasize that Classic, he was staying on 2 bases for a long time. Remember, he chose not to expand. He went up to Storm, he teched up into the Temple Archives, he threw down 2 more gateways, threw down the Robo as well. Basically, after the initial defense against the Marauders, he stayed on 2 bases for a very long time. I would imagine that the rationale for this is because he believed that Percival was going to go for a follow-up 2 base all-in. But he didn't. Remember, we pointed it out that Percival, he chose to cancel Stim. He canceled Stim and he started the factory instead. And Classic scouted. Remember, the hallucination went into the main base, he saw it. That should have been the sign to expand. But he chose to stay on 2 bases even longer, so he didn't really have the economic advantage that he otherwise should have had, right? He should have had a stronger economy, which would have led into a larger army, but he chose to stay on 2 bases, assuming that it was going to be a 2 base all-in, so he could defend and survive against it, but it wasn't. So instead he got outscaled. Classic got outscaled, but more importantly, of course, he was torn apart, right? He was pulled apart. Nice moves out of Percival, and now we're getting into the ace match. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Virtus Pro. It is Classic. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Red Terran, also from South Korea. It is Percival. We go. So again, Percival ending up with a better economy towards the end there, able to actually go for a later timing instead. It's a later stim, to a later drop. And now we end up on Tourmaline. Now, we spoke a lot about how a lot of the new maps are quite large. Here, Tourmaline is a more aggressive map. We spoke about this in the previous series here, but we do have a very wide entrance into the natural, a wide entrance into the 3rd base as well. Being the defending player here can be very difficult, and if there were a map where Percival were to go for a 2 base all-in, like this would be the map, I feel. But now single gas. Single gas opener, CC on the low ground, so economic start out of Percival. See Classic being as annoying as possible. Does 4 sit off center. Again, Classic being as annoying as he can be. Now we're building up. Reaper does break in, gets a probe kill. Oh, and we see something that we assumed was going to be occurring last game, if you remember 3x. 3x stim timing, so hyper aggression out of Percival, going for a very early stim timing, going into Mass Marine. If you remember, we actually had the set for this last game, and then Percival chose to cancel stim and start the factory, right? Like, that was the big moment where Classic had a misread as to how aggressive Percival was being. This time he's actually being aggressive. So this time we're actually going for the stim timing, and it is on the Protoss player to scout. No sentry. Ooh, so no sentry, no hallucination, not yet. We need to warp in a sentry soon, as Classic is in the dark. And this time we actually have stim on the way. This time it's not cancelled. So this is going to hit hard. Reaper does pull away in time. Classic expanding. Is he going 2-gate? Oh, 2-gate bleeding into a third base. Greedy build here by Classic. Classic is still playing blind, by the way. This is scary. So Classic is being greedy and he doesn't know what's going on. So Classic is gambling quite heavily here on Tourmaline of all maps. And we're building it. We're building up. Again, the upgrade's almost done. We're waiting for stim, combat shields. A couple of seconds away. And then Percival, he will soon pull the trigger. He'll soon move out. I would imagine he won't pull the boys because he does have a factory on the way. So that tells us we're kind of planning a little bit further ahead. But here he comes. And this observer is going to be the first bit of information that Classic's going to have here. Observer does move out. I believe he will spot the army. Now he knows. Now he's aware. No shield battery. Yeah, no shield batteries. Lack of gateways. He still only has 2, so warping into units at a time. And Percival, he can maybe just break him here and now. Does have a force field. Oh. Goes down the force field. Sentry goes down. This will buy some time. True. Yeah, buy some time. And that was what, the second stim. He's running out of stims here. Nice focus firing on the Marauder. And Classic will clean this up completely. Wow, very nice defense out of Classic. Completely shuts us down. And that might just be game. This had to do more damage. This had to break this position here at the natural base. The sentry board a lot of time with the force fields. You could see that Percival, he wanted to go in. He wanted to dive into the natural. He wanted to dive. Remember, Classic scattered nothing across the map. Classic was greedy and he gets away with it. He gets away with his greed. And Percival's in a rough position here. Now he's stuck at home. And Classic can freely get his Bay. Bay is on the way. Forge is on the way. Her +1, charge. Classic just getting further ahead from here. And seeing nice bling control. And seeing Percival just go for a 3rd CC, it's a brutal decision to make. It's just really brutal. It means that Percival, he's going to try to macro out of this. Trying to macro in this position, especially on Tourmaline, is going to be difficult. Again, the MVP sentry. It meant that the first stim was wasted. I wasted the first stim. Bought enough time. Classic getting a 4th base. And again, he's free to do so. He's free to get a 4th. Get a 2nd forge. Build up the Colossus. And from here, Classic is just slowly building up his core army. So he's building up the Colossus, building up the sentries. Now, supply-wise, Percival, he still actually has a comparable army size for the time being, and he has to make use of it. So again, there's still a window in time where he can try to break Classic. But it's not going to be easy. There are sentries. There's soon to be a second Colossus, now joining the army. And now 2 Colossi. Ghost will help. We'll see. As the game slows down, there's going to be opportunities for Percival to maybe go for drop play and veer off towards the left-hand side and try to get into some bases. But there's an observer with the army. Classic, he knows he's safe. He knows, man. MP lands on the Stalkers. Ooh, brutal force fields. He locks down the Marauders. That's 3-4 Marauders going down. Hot pick up though. Nice save. Saves the Ghost. Saves some Marauders as well. Saving whatever he can. Vikings are moving in. Collapsing in the army. And so it's going down. And Percival, he's bleeding out too much here. They're bleeding out far too much. The boys are being pulled. Colossus, they move in. And the boys are going to be going down. The laser spat takes down 17 SCVs, 18, 19 workers going down. GG gets called, and Classic, he does take the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, a very nice defense at a Classic when it came to the 3x stim timing. Did see that the Sentry was able to buy some time. I want to say that even 2 stims were used, like 2 stims before the main fight occurred. So just a brutal moment there for Percival. Did do a great job when it came to hiding his build and executing his build as well. But Classic, he was more than set up. I mean, he was able to react in time, I should say. Saw the army with the Observer, was able to force field, able to build up more Stalkers and pull off that defense. And basically, as soon as that defense happened, that was game, right? That was game then and there. GG, well played. Whew. Classic, he will advance on to the grand finals, and we're here to find out who will join him in those finals. It is going to be a PvZ between Solar and Nightmare. Let's go.